Hey, welcome to the Eric J. the Great podcast, man. Got a special guest on the show, my boy Darius Martin.
In the business smoking more. Hey, Raj. Pocket full of motherfucking blue guap. Half of
Yeah.
my Gucci too. For the summertime, got a new drop. Trapper slash rapper slash bad bitch. Snatching.
Go for you.
Mad, she said you live like a bachelor. Sold 100 pounds and gave 10% to the pastor. Keep going up the ladder. They mad, make them matter. Told her son when I'm gone, you gon' be a richer bastard. Corners on me hitting, leave a bitch dizzy. All my old bitches feeling salty.
Yeah.
In my DM talking about why you dog me.
Yeah.
But I still miss you, can you call me?
Yeah.
I heard that shit changed, that you still balling.
Yeah.
She used to bust a script for me at Walgreens. Smuggling narcotics was my calling. Hey, foes on the Mercedes, that's major. Whole thing going crazy, that's major.
Hey, man. Rest in peace, Young Dolph, man. That's one of my favorite rappers, man. Real talk, man. But we got three topics today, man, that we want to talk about. First topic, man. I want to get your opinion, and then I'll go after you on what I think. Um, do you think you can mold someone into what you want them to be in a relationship?
Mold someone.
Mold or make, any words you want to use, like,
Right.
change, you know what I'm saying? Change something to what you want them to be.
No. I think you have a role you can play. Right. I think but I think even if you gave the perfect example, you said the perfect words, you lived your life the perfect way, they have to want to match you. Right. They have to want to know that what you're doing is good. It's going to reap good benefits. So no, I don't think you can mold anybody. You can just do your part, your role, and hopefully they feel that, they buy that.
Well, what do you say to, we don't see situations. So this is how I look at it. So I don't think you can mold someone into what you want them to be, but that doesn't mean that it's not being done. So we gotta go off what we see. Now the more logical answer is no, because it's not gonna be nothing real there because the person can't thrive in being themselves. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
But
and that's also what I feel too. Like I don't wanna put you in a relationship and then change you and say, hey, change everything about you and do it this way. But again, but both people are gonna change anyway. You will change regardless. And hopefully that will change and for the relationship.
Yeah, because like I was about to say that you have some people. Well, so what do you think about people that's being trapped in situations like that? Because you'll have a person that trying to change, and this goes for men and women. This ain't just men making women do something because sometimes you might have a man that might not be prototypical alpha male, you know what I'm saying? So so the woman might be a little bit more dominant, and she might be trying to make him like, no, you need to be like this, or you need to be a street dude, or you need to, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? But people in most situations like that, they not quick to leave. Like they'll just sit there and take it. That's why I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll have a lot of situations. This was dragged out for 10 to 15 years. Like these be like long relationships of just unhappiness. You know what I'm saying? Like people just being unhappy. So, what do you think about that?
Okay.
Or did you hear me?
No, say that again.
No, I'm saying these be long relationships. Like as far as like people letting this drag out 10, 15 years, being unhappy, not being themselves, and right. They can't be themselves with the person that's either their girlfriend or their spouse,
Right.
and they making them be something that they don't want to be. So why do you think people be trapped in situations like that? Because they don't be quick to leave. They just be
Now,
like a punching bag, like they just sit there and take it type, you know what I'm saying?
it's funny you bring that up because either you've been in that situation before or you know somebody in that situation personally, right? I think everybody do. When I was younger, you come with all these reasons why I would never be in that situation, or I don't understand why they would do that. And then as I meet more people, I find out that everybody has a different reason. There's no pattern to this. You know what I'm saying? Some people just may not be financially able to just walk away, start over. Some it's the fear of domestic violence. There's so many reasons of fear, the disbelief that you can be better without somebody, all these things in it. So, okay, if you in that kind of situation, that's understandable to a degree, right? But if there's literally nothing stopping you from just saying, you know what, for example, right? Say you're the guy, the house is in your name, you're the one working, she's living for free, but you're constantly being miserable, you're constantly unhappy, and there's literally nothing stopping you from walking away. And I ask you, well, why won't you? The average person's not really going to have an answer because you're still benefiting. Whether it's sex, the companionship, you're getting something from it that makes you want to stay, even though you know you're miserable. So, I'm not saying the answer is simple in every situation, but sometimes you just gotta want better. You have to want to want more if you in that kind of situation.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Like people do be getting something out of a situation,
Yeah.
but it just I think a lot of it has to do with pride. Like people don't want to admit because they get around people and be like, man, I don't want to be in this situation no more. But in reality, they don't want to put their pride to the side and be like, well, I'm really with this person because she got that fire, or she
Right.
she do everything I need her to do, was clean and cooking, paying bill, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It make my life.
Now, I have noticed where some people, and me included, right, we value our time. You know, we put so much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, man. So a lot of people get stuck in those situations, man, because of the benefits of, like you said, sex. Uh, and they get around people and they explain their frustrations, but really they don't want to put their pride to the side and be like, dang, like I ain't leaving this girl because she throwing it back like I wanted, or
Right.
she cooking them devil eggs every Sunday after church, or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, now I know another reason that people may be big on, and me included, is time, right? I invested X amount of years. It'll be a waste to walk away now. But staying does you what? If you're gonna be miserable. So I get it. Like I said, wasting time is it's bad for everybody. But You got to make sure that you're making progress no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So another topic, man. So
Talk to me.
I know this is real juicy. So
Oh,
self-worth. So when it comes down to men,
okay.
why do you think and well, I think in back in the older era, 1900s, like men was providers and stuff, but I don't think it was so much an emphasis on them being valued only if they had money. You know what I'm saying? Like you still have relationships where people didn't have much and they still got the same amount of love. But now it's like if you ain't got that bag or doing good for yourself, like you ain't valuable. Like it's very hard on a day market now. Like if you ain't got nothing going on and you just like at the bottom of the barrel, just barely making it, like it's very hard. And it's like man ain't valuable, and it's thrown at us at social media all the time, like how people talk about it or post these memes and stuff talking about it, be like, uh men is only valuable if they have money. So what is your opinion on that?
Mm, that's a big one, man. That's a big one. I think two things. One, like you said, social media is a gift and a curse, right? But you will find, depends on where you are with social media, more negative than positive when it comes to men, especially the absence of men in the homes, right? But who is supposed to teach your son how to be a man? His father. So if you are in a situation where you're raised by your mama, you're raised by somebody other than your father, and you don't have that self-worth, isn't it kind of funny to expect someone to have self-worth if they're not taught it? All right. Parenting is the first step to making sure the kids turn to adults and are ready for the world. So it's like, you know, people that's not in two-parent homes, whatever the case may be, we expect them to function like they have everything that was supposed to have been taught, and they don't. They don't have all the tools. And if you're not in a church, you're not in a mentor kind of group or something to give you these tools outside of the home, how can you have self-worth unless you just have the inner ability to have it? You know what I'm saying? So basically, you have to be taught it. You have to be taught it, and you should be taught it. Everything in life you should be taught. Love, patience, forgiveness. Everything is supposed to be a lesson. Um, and then on top of that, depending on the environment you grew up on, you're just trying to really survive. You know what I'm saying? You're just trying to find work, find money, and like you kind of adjust to what you have to do. So the self-worth goes out the window anyway. Well, they won't hire me, but this job will. But this job goes against everything in your character. But it's the only one that's going to hire you. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that I think affect self-worth.
So what do you think about the men value as far as money?
I think men have to be ambitious. Number one, you have to be ambitious, because I think that's where the problem starts when, let's say, you got your first job. Your first job should not be where you say, "This is where I want to retire." That should not be the first thing that comes to your head. It should be, okay, this is going to be my foundation, right? And then whether you get promoted and stay in the organization, that's one thing. But you don't want to start and stop right there. You have to be thinking of more. And I think guys are not that ambitious these days. That's really the problem. They're not trying to go as high as they can go and get that, because that gives you pride right there. You know, it's too many guys that just not working for whatever reasons, don't really have the bread, and you don't feel like a man just because you're not financially stable. That's one of the reasons right there. You know what I'm saying? That men not really being men. You know, I don't want to date because I can't pay for the date. You know what I'm saying? I gotta ask you to help me, and I'm supposed to be taking you out. So it's like nothing is really working the way it's supposed to. But if you put a man in a suit and or whatever job you got, and he has money, he has confidence. You know?
Well, you know, it's kind of a tricky situation because men is supposed to be providers,
Mhm.
but
Absolutely.
at the same time, I don't think that that's just supposed to be strictly our value, because men are so much more than a dollar. You know what I'm saying? Like
I agree.
especially when it comes to if you were in a family situation and raising kids and things like that. Because a lot of women, well, I ain't gonna say a lot of women, I'm gonna say some women are quick to just use the man for the dollar and X the man out as far as the kids and stuff like that. But they don't realize that, for one, you hurting the kid. Two, money's not everything. And it's a reason why you have two parents. Like a mama, no matter if it's a daughter or a son, can't teach that child everything it needs to know. It has to be a joint effort, especially a son, because you can't teach him how to be a man, especially if he's an African American man, because there's certain things that when he gets a certain age that he's going to go through that female women don't have to go through. You know what I'm saying? As far as just being
Yeah.
looked at as an alpha male African American man, even if a African American daughter, like
So this kind of
hold on. The mom's gonna have the compassion side, but you gotta have the dad to be, you know, not saying we gotta be strict, but you gotta be the more logical, real side. Like it's a balance. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And I'm glad you brought it up because, like you said, the mothers will be more compassionate, more catering to the pain, to the hurt, while the dads are trying to tell you that yes, you are in pain, but you got to get back up. But you need both lessons because, like you said, it is a balancing thing. You can't have the I'm hurt but get back up without the compassion. But the dad ain't supposed to give you the compassion to that degree. That's what the nurturer is supposed to do. But I was gonna say that this kind of goes into almost like co-parenting, right? Because that's one thing that you gotta have on the back burner. That if I date you and we do have to co-parent because we have kids, how is that going to be? Is your personality going to be so nasty and bitter that, like you said, the kids suffer because the kids don't understand why daddy not here, why I can't call him. All they understand is you telling me I can't call daddy. That's all. That's all they know at that age. Which goes back to like the self-worth, of both people. The going back to
What the whole thing of you can continue after I say this, but the whole thing I was
Mhm.
getting at, where I know that touches on co-parenting, but
Yeah.
the whole thing that I was getting at by bringing the parent example was the dollar, as far as men only being valuable with a dollar, because the way the system is set up, once you have a dependent or any type of situation, you know what I'm saying, that involves two people dealing with each other, whether you got kids or not, it's set up to where you could position yourself to just get the dollar
Mhm.
and not put yourself in a position to what was the whole purpose of y'all two being in this situation in the first place. That's why I was saying that men are only valued as a dollar, i.e. child support, because you'd be like, oh, I'm finna hit him for $1,000 a month, and that's his value.
But
like the
that's
value.
my point though. That goes into my point though, right? When you approach me or I approach you, I shouldn't be looking at what you make. You should be looking at what I make. It should be the friendship is supposed to be the start, right? Because as you know, in relationship, that love stuff comes and goes, but the friendship holds you together. So if that's really how you start it off, then you ain't never got to worry about seeing me as a dollar sign. I'm your friend first. So even if I lose my job, you're not going to be quick to just walk away. You're going to sit there and wait until I get back on my feet if we started off as friends first. So again, you know, that's just going back to how did you see me before you knew I had money, before you knew what I was going to bring to the table? How did you see me then?
Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's this is just a conversation that I think more men need to have amongst other men and women, with women, that's cool.
Definitely.
With having a logical conversation. We're not, not putting nobody on blast, but just being honest about stuff, because everybody, men and women, have flaws. I don't want this to seem like that we just hopping on women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, men and women have flaws, but I'm just saying this is just a specific topic, and it's something that I see on social media all the time as far as men being acquainted to a dollar versus men providing. Of course, that's going to equate to a dollar because you have to pay bills, rent, things like that. But I'm just saying, on a simple fact of, that's only a percentage of that person. It's 100%. That's probably only between 30 to 50% of that person. What about the other 50 to 70% of what that person brings as far as being able to motivate you, or being able to comfort you, being able to be a great parent, anything, whatever situation is, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that a lot of people just right now, especially in this era, just want to hit the home run, and everything else is put on the back burner. That's why no nothing lasts. Just like how you say, with being a friend first, that'd be the best relationships. Like, if you deal with a friend and then the stuff just happened organically, then it's like y'all know y'all in a relationship, but it feel like it's just friends because y'all got things in common and y'all just hang out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And again, like you said, the guys got their responsibility too. All right, because how are you looking at the woman when you start a relationship? All right, because your self-worth is also going to go into how you choose a woman. Right? If your self-worth is so low, then you're not looking at how smart she is, what she can bring to the table. All you want is somebody next to you. So your self-worth dictate who you choose. So again, how are we choosing? Oh, she got a nice body. Is that the only thing you care about? And then you wonder why a relationship fails. What did what effort did you put into thinking about why you wanted to date this person? And you can't tell me her appearance was the only thing. Can't tell me that's the only thing.
Right, because, and it goes to like one thing to piggyback off what you said, like, you was like, really knowing that person. Also, what are you putting out there? Because if you come across a woman for the first time and you just throwing out the money, like, be like, I got 500,000, you know what I'm saying? I got this. Then you put yourself in a position, I can't really fault the woman, because you like, oh, this dude got a bag. I don't even really like this dude because he arrogant. So I'm
gonna stay. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna use them, you know what I'm saying, until this train sells, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you really gotta just come into a situation where I don't care what you got going on. You could be a whole multi-millionaire. Just come up, you know what I'm saying? Be normal, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how you
So,
know what a you could get a real filling out process of what that person's on, and if you want to invest time in seeing if that could really lead to something, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. I mean, that's kind of it's kind of dumb, you know. If I gotta get you because I flash money, I don't, you know, that's not a very a strong foundation at all. You know, because like you said, she see the money before she even knew your favorite color. You know, um, no, I ain't saying it can't work, but that's not the typical formula at all.
Right. So, man, one of the last topics I want to top on, and I think even in so it, I think even whether your relationship fails or if your relate, you could still be actively in a prototypical successful relationship. Like you still could be with your woman, but everybody has been through this, and done.
Mhm.
People don't want to admit it, but I've been through it. It happens, especially if you're with somebody for a while. So complacency, getting too relaxed
Mm,
relationship. Like, this happened to me personally with my ex-wife, and I in previous situations I had got, relaxed because you have to have that burning urge of when you first met the person. Like if it's like real love, like you gotta keep stuff spiced up, because if you with somebody for 5 or 6 years, it's easy to get into the same routine of doing stuff and not doing the things that you did to get her. You know what I'm saying? When you got her. So it's like everybody falls into that trap. And it's like you have to have one thing I think that can help people get over this is set things up every month to where you doing stuff that you did when you was pursuing the person. So like if you was like I understand on relate if you in a marriage or relationship, y'all might not do as many dates, you know what I'm saying, going out as you did, especially if you got kids, because that's a lot taking the kids out and things like that. But or getting babysitters or something. But you know, you might not do as many dates as you did. You might have went on a date every week, you know what I'm saying, when you met her.
yeah,
Now it's only like once a month or once every 2 months, something like that. I just think you have to have mental resets, be like, dang, be just aware, be like, oh, I ain't took her out in like 2 months. I need to set up something romantic for this, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of women, everybody, women and men, and we don't want to admit it, but everybody needs reassurance. I don't care how much confidence you got or nothing. When a person that you're dealing with, you in a relationship, when they give you reassurance, like they do something special for you or take you out to one of your special places or whatever you like, that gives you reassurance in yourself to be like, hey, like she's still feeling me, even though y'all could be in a full out marriage, but you still have to have that reassurance to be like, for woman and man, be like, one be like, oh yeah, he's still doing, planning special days, doing vacations for anniversary, things like that. So what's your
right.
opinion on that?
Another big one, another big topic. Oh man. Okay, well, I'm guilty of complacency as well. I've been married 6 years, going on 7. And I have definitely stopped doing some of the things I did when I was trying to get her. Right. And it's not because I just decided to stop one day. Kids get involved, military is involved, family, everything gets in, and you yourself forget the thing that matters most. The person is right next to your side. All right. Like, that is one person we cannot forget. And we have to make sure that we're not even forcing it to remember. It should be natural that after everything I got going on, I have to take care of my partner. You know what I'm saying? I have to know their love language, because they may not want gifts. They may want time. They may not want time. They may want the gifts, but you have to know what they like and be so invested that, for example, right? Say you don't like shopping, but your lady loves it. Well, you sacrifice that 2-3 hours because you know it's gonna make her day. It's not hard to do, right? But it's the desire to want to do it that allows you to do it,
Mhm.
right? But then, like you said, the reassurance part, both will feel the need to be reassured at different moments, right? Different moments, both are gonna need it. But I think that when she needs it, it's really obvious. But the men miss the red signs, right? They miss it. Like when she asks you 2-3 nights back to back to watch a movie with her, and you keep putting it off. She's asking for a reason, like she want that time, and then when she gets mad and you trying to figure out why, you don't even know why she's mad, because you don't even know what she's been trying to get you to do. You're not that invested, right? You trying to play the game or do whatever you got going on. And like I said, it's complacency, man. It's a big thing, but it's completely avoidable. It's completely avoidable because if y'all don't have like a set schedule where it's like y'all time, then now you have to make your own schedule. Maybe you've got kids, maybe when the kids get put to bed, you take the next 2 hours and whatever y'all want to do. But you have to do something to where 2-3 days didn't go by and she been trying to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you don't want. Because she may not complain those first 2-3 days. But when she complains, the argument is greater than it needed to be. So that's my initial thoughts on that. It's a big thing. Everybody goes through it, but it is completely avoidable.
And the thing is, too, man, a lot of people try to put stuff in place to offset that complacency. So if you're successful, you'll be like, oh, if she wants some time, instead of spending time where it wouldn't cost you that much to just spend quality time,
Right.
you would just buy some expensive gifts or extravagant, the quiet, keep her quiet, or just stop it temporarily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people would do that because you'd be like, hey man, what you want, man? Give you 10,000. I ain't trying, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just some people might be guilty of that, so it's just like
Right.
I think the main thing is like, I mean, relationships supposed to be organic, so I don't think nobody will have like a set schedule per se.
Right.
Like, you will have a schedule, but it won't just be set like, oh, every Friday we're gonna do this. Like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? But you just have to like be aware in your mind of your relationship and put everything else in his own box as far as kids, work, whatever. But you gotta have relationship in his own box and everything that's pertaining to your life in his own box, so you can be aware. Because when your kids gotta eat, you're aware that they hungry. You gotta feed them. So it's the same thing with your relationship. Like, you gotta be aware of certain benchmarks that you gotta hit. If you knew, you know what I'm saying, y'all ain't been on a date in 3 months, then you need to probably schedule a day ASAP, because every woman like to go out here and there and put some nice clothes on and have a formal date. And sometimes, complacency can come in that you could be doing these things. You could be doing taking down and spending the time, but you're not being creative. Like you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna just take it a Red Lobster every time. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying that you gotta go to a 5-star restaurant every month,
Right.
but why not 2 times out the year? Be like, hey, let's go to Roof Chris. You know what I'm saying? Let's spend 100 on a meal. You just assure that you trying to do something nice for it and out of the ordinary stuff that y'all gonna do anyway. You know what I'm saying?
So that goes back to what I said about learning her love language, right? Because knowing that is going to allow you to put in that creativity, to put in that effort, because you know she's going to love it. Not like it, love it. You know that, right? So, well, for example, say in the beginning of your relationship, you was doing those things because you knew she liked it. So that means that the woman is going to know when you're not putting effort in, because you will stop doing it, or you're going to have to do it. And you may think like, well, I did this for you, I did that for you, but she's gonna say, but your heart ain't in it. No effort went into that, and she's right. And I tell everybody, especially my little brother, that getting a girl is the easy part. Maintaining everything you did to get her, that's gonna be a challenge for the rest of your life. I said, you just can't, well, if she's my girlfriend now, I ain't gotta work hard no more. No, you have to maintain what you just did. Now, obviously, it's gonna slow down naturally, but you always have to maintain that fun relationship. However well she fell in love with you, that's the version that she wants for the rest of her life. Right. And you got to always remember that she don't want any version of you. She wants the best version of you.
Right, because it's harder to maintain it than it is to get her. And one thing that I always looked up to when I think about this, those old couples that been together for over 30 years, 40, 50 years, you know how much time that you had to dedicate to be, especially if it's a successful relationship, because some of those relationships, it was successful for 20 years and they was just on a old traditional, like we just gonna stay together because we grandma and grandpa, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about like a real successful, like they really love each other and they've been together that long and they're still thriving. That both parties, not just saying men and women, because women have to do stuff for men too, as far as giving us that reassurance. It goes both ways, but you know how much time you have to put in and being aware. If you've been married to somebody for 40 years, date nights over 40 years, anniversaries, birthdays, or just because days, it ain't got to be occasion, just because days.
Right. Now, it's funny you bring it up because, everybody knows that old couple, right? That just been together for so long. Everybody knows them. I know a few. And, you always want to ask them, how do you do it? You know what I'm saying? You always want to ask, especially when you're on the verge of giving up what you have. You always want to ask somebody else that's doing something good, like, how did you do it, right? And you always hear, like, the most simplest answers. You always, we overthink it, and then their answers be so simple. I stopped arguing, or I kept doing what I always was doing. Some easy answer. You'd be saying like, well, that don't help me right now, but it's the truth. It's just, as long as you always trying to love her, she's always trying to love you, the rest of it's gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? But it's when I don't feel loved, you don't feel love. That's where the problem comes in. Lack of effort, complacency, all these things. So I just find it how the old couples have the the simple answers though to that question all the time.
Yeah, man, I admire any couple out there, that's been together for a long time. And a long time is 10 years. It ain't got to be 40, 50 years,
Yeah.
5, 10 years, you know what I'm saying? Anybody that can get over that 5-year mark, man, that's
Especially today.
yeah, especially with all the elements we got going in today's era as far as distractions and current ways to live life, that's real dedication, because a lot of people don't like relationship is a job, you know what I'm saying? That's like a second job. Like you have to,
Yeah.
be aware in all aspects as far as if a person's sad, if a person uh looking forward to something and they hoping that you pick up that they want whatever that is, you know what I'm saying? So it's always like you constantly being kept off balance, no matter how much you might know that person. There's always something they might come up here and there that keep you off balance a little bit, like, dang, I ain't even know, but that complacency is a real thing. And I think that a lot of people need to become self-conscious of that and be like, just whenever you're not around your spouse, or even you around your spouse and you got some alone time, you might be in your man cave or whatever, you just thinking to yourself, you like, dang, we ain't did nothing with just us two in a while. And even if you're in an extreme situation to where you ain't got no babysitters for the kids or something, you might have to go to an extreme situation and be like, hey, pay whatever, you know what I'm saying, just to get, find a situation where somebody can keep your kids for 2 or 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? If you can't get
Right.
them to keep for a weekend, just so you can show her, like, I know we got a lot of stuff going on as far as our family, or vice versa. The dude, you trying to show her, like, hey, I know we got a lot of stuff going on as far as our everyday lives, but this is still on my mind, and I'm still conscious of,
The effort.
our relationship, and I still putting that effort in.
Yeah. Now, there is another point I want to talk about is defense mechanism, right? So here's the thing. Say, you get called out for your complacency. Do you get defensive?
Well,
I think
I think
that's key to it. Like how are you going to react if your partner then is telling you, hey, I think you're not doing X, Y, and Z like you used to, or whatever the case. Do you, how do you respond to that?
well, it depends on the maturity of that person. Because sometimes, an immature person might flash out and be like, man, I'm not, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
if an immature person can self-reflect, they might handle it wrong in the heat of the moment. But after how much time it take them to cool down, a couple of hours or a day or two, they'd be like, dang, she was right. You know what I'm saying? But I I think it's a right or wrong way to handle the situation. Don't get me wrong, but the
Definitely.
more important thing is that you have to self-reflect. Now, if you handle the situation wrong and you don't have no self-reflection in yourself to when you cool down and when you by yourself and you thinking about it and you like, dang, like, even if you ain't even got the pride to be like, well, self-reflect got to deal with pride, because you got to come to some point and be like, you know what, baby, I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? You got to do that. So you got to be like, hey, I was wrong. And, we haven't been going out in a while, or whatever the complacency was, whether it was you used to give her foot massages or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you can start back doing that, you know what I'm saying? Even, and sometimes it don't even be extreme complacency, like, because most people don't even expect you to do this every day. They just be wanting it to be a constant, like maybe once a week or twice a week for a massage or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
you just have to arrange it, like, be like, oh, I could do that before we go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna be in the bed anyway. So it's like, it's just simple things. You know what I'm saying? But the most important thing, or no matter how you handle the situation, if you don't self-reflect on your actions in the heat of the moment and be able to call yourself and be like, dang, like, this is what really going on, and I really haven't been doing this, then you totally in the wrong.
I want to caveat on what you just said, because I like your points a lot. Only few of us can sit there and have an argument after you've already been on the defensive side, and the words you're saying are good. Only few of us cannot sit there and regret what you just said. All of us probably will, right? But like you said, once you cool down, you have to take accountability for what you just said, for what you just did. That is the key every single time, because she's gonna, especially if she got a mouth on her, she's gonna say something. You know what I'm saying? But they're also quick to apologize. Hey, I didn't mean that. And you can't be sitting here like, yes, you did, but because, like, you can't have it all. She said what she said in the heat of the moment. She cooled down. She apologized. You got to do the same thing. All right. And then the second thing is you can't try to win it all. You can't win every argument, win every fight. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you have that defensive mechanism kicking in, right? It's okay. You know what I'm saying? If what she's trying to tell you is, especially if you know it's true, sometimes you got to take it. I work on it. Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Yeah, you got to know what battles to fight, but
Yep.
anybody, you could be a hothead. You might call your girl out your name or whatever. I don't condone that, but I'm just saying, if that's your personality, you know
Right.
what I'm saying, have that self-reflection to be like, yo, don't make this a continuing pattern, by the way, but have that self-reflection to be like, because you got to apologize for two things, going off on her and not taking y'all relationship as serious as you did when y'all first got together, because that's all complacency is. You're relaxed and you're not fully engaged. So it's basically like a reset, like, whether it is the woman saying it or the man saying it, saying, hey, you need to, hey, shake back. Like, you need to, you need to get back, or you need to get back. You know what I'm saying? So,
and honestly, you should want that. If somebody has to check you, you should want it to come from your partner. Because if somebody else check you, then you can look at her like, why you ain't say nothing?
right.
But the point is, you don't want her to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, you should definitely want to be checked by your partner. Because if they really your partner, they're only trying to help you. They're only trying to make sure that things stay on track.
Right, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on the podcast today, man.
It's fun.
I talk about a lot of real topics, whether it's relationships, talked about police brutality, child support, a lot of anything you can think of, but reason I started my podcast, because I think mental health is a real big thing. And I think that a lot of people, the reason I wanted to start a podcast was because a lot of people have inner thoughts that they don't express, and they don't constantly have open dialogue with people around them. So when you hear people on a platform discussing about things that you're going through and they have the same viewpoints you have, but you just haven't expressed them openly, then it gives you that reassurance to be like, oh, I'm not the only person that thinks this way. And maybe I'm doing this the right way because, they think the same way and they have successful relationships or whatever success for whatever topic or whatever situation it is. So that's the main reason I started doing this, and I appreciate everybody supporting the podcast. And I'm heavy on the content. I do 1 or 2 episodes a week, and I just try to talk about things that I know people gonna come across in their everyday life, because a lot of people, they might have a 5 or even an hour conversation with their homeboy, but it's not like an open dialogue. That's basically like you venting, what I'm
Right.
saying? Because you're not really checking all the stuff from both sides. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on the podcast, and this concludes today's episode, man. And anytime you want to come on, man, and you got a topic that come across your mind, it don't take me that long to shoot these up. You know what I'm saying? We can hop on and talk about it and let some people get their thoughts in the comments when we post it and see what they
Yeah.
think about it.
Hey, anytime, invite me back, man. I come.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And this concludes today's episode, man. You have a good night.